Hi, I'm Wade Carter, founder of Fear Driven Speech, and I'm excited to be here today to tell you exactly what it is that we do. I'm going to start by talking to you a little bit about my fight with stage fright, how I got the name Fear Driven Speech and what that all means, and the products and services that are now available. When I was young, I had a tremendous fear of public speaking in my personal life and then later on in my Air Force life as well. But it wasn't until the Air Force asked me to give public presentations as part of my job that I realized, wow, man, I have a real serious problem here. After that, I moved on and got promoted, and through that promotion process, I earned my ticket into the Airman Leadership School. Now, at the Airman Leadership School, you learn some leadership and management, but you also are asked to do public speaking. And everyone who gets into ALS or before they go, they know already you've got to do these speeches. So I went in ready, and I still ended up walking out of my first speech evaluation, and I had to be convinced by the instructor that if I didn't go back in and do that speech, I was going to not graduate the school and therefore not earn my stripe that I had worked so hard to obtain. So eventually I went back in, I did the speech, I passed, I went on to do 4 more speeches and finish out the school and graduate. So my career moved on from there. But I knew at that point I had a hard fight in front of me to actually get rid of this stage fright problem. So I sought out speaking events in any way I could all the time. It just became my personal strategy. Eventually, I got promoted again, and I went on to the NCOA, and I feel like I did pretty well at the NCOA when it comes to that stage fright problem, the fear of public speaking. I did grow a lot there with leadership and management, but I felt like I did pretty well with the speech stuff as well. Then I got hired to be a tech school instructor, and I thought, man, this is it. I'm going to be in front of an audience every day. I'm going to be great at this. And my first 6 weeks as an instructor was miserable. I mean, the first 3 weeks for sure. I thought I was going to be fired at any minute. And somehow I just squeaked by and I didn't get fired. But that's, the reality of it is that I just hadn't conquered the fear yet. So there I was, day after day in front of an audience. And eventually I started winning. So I did 3 years of tech school instructor duty. I became really good at talking with an audience, engaging, teaching concepts, answering questions. I became very familiar with who I was and how I was going to interact with my students. Then after the tech school job, I went on to another duty station, and eventually I got promoted again, became a senior NCO. Well, that's when I started to play around with my stage fright problem or public speaking skills that I had acquired, and I started doing mentoring sessions with junior enlisted folks and senior enlisted folks and trying to gain some knowledge from the senior guys down to the junior guys. And I did that for about 15 months, putting together these they weren't public speaking events, but they were dialogue, and I was the facilitator that maintained the dialogue and kept it going, and I did an extremely good job with all of that. I felt like that was above and beyond the stage fright problem that I had had in the past. Eventually, I did apply for and got hired to be the commandant of an Airman Leadership School of my own, which is super cool because of the way my experience went when I was younger. But at that stage and that level, I was able to not only teach other people how to fight fear and do well with their speeches and teach them the leadership and management skills that they need to go on and be supervisors, but I was able to evaluate my own successes and my own failures and see those things coming through my students as well. So what I realized is that when I saw presentations, whether it be enlisted folks, officers, my students, my peers, my supervisors, it didn't matter. I saw the evidence of fear driving public speaking performances everywhere. So that's why I have what we call fear-driven speech. These are just things that happened. I figured out that I wasn't dealing with fear anymore. I learned that my habitual behaviors had changed, making me more effective and confident. They actually instilled in me some confidence rather than allowing fear to take over. And then the last thing that really happened that changed everything for me is that I heard Charles Spurgeon talk about fear, and it just immediately changed my perspective on it and made it easier for me to do everything as well as teach other people the same. So fear-driven speech is what I witnessed throughout my career. Too many people's performances were driven by fear. There's a huge need for this. It bleeds into so many other areas of life. It builds confidence, it builds character, it builds leadership when you can demonstrate your public speaking ability in front of an audience. Great communication skills are applicable all the time. They're extremely valuable, and everyone's heard it before. Communication is key. I mean, if you can do public speaking, you can be an extremely good leader at the same time. So moving on to the products and services. First of all, after all the experience I've had and all of the self-evaluation and student evaluation as the commandant of the Airman Leadership School, there was so much in my head that I had to write a book. So the book is going to be out, and it really is a tool for anyone who's ever going to be in front of an audience to really kick you into the next gear, to the next level for your performances. Then I also created my website with my blog, community, and resources, and those things will just continue to get richer as time goes on. And then I have also started what I'm calling the FDS Dojo. This is my online or local in-person training skills and enrichment program for the individual. In the future, I probably will start up a podcast as well, kind of getting to the meat and potatoes of things with other guest speakers. And what I want to say about the products and services is that the FDS Dojo training is unlike any other public speaking program. We're training for life applications, not just speech delivery. Excuse me. It all starts with a free public speaking consultation. Basically, we're just going to have a conversation, figure out where you are, what your starting point is, and we're going to move on from there. But the thing is I'm considering this stage fright thing a fight. I fought it for a lot of years until I had overcome it, and then looking back, figured out how I overcome it and what the secrets to success were, and those things are all in my book, but they're also going to be in my dojo. So the thing is that the training that I'm going to put forward is basically teaching you to fight. So as members go through the ranks from beginner to black belt, they will level up just like martial arts as they based on their performance and their accomplishments. And the coolest part about it all is that it's open to all ages. If you can speak, you can belt up. But that's basically it. I've found the keys, and I'm wanting to dish them out and help other people, and that's what FDS is all about. Again, that was a little bit of my history about the fight with fear, how I came up with fear-driven speech and what it is, and a little about our products and services. If you have any other questions about it all, you can go to the feardrivenspeech.com website, look it up there, ask me questions, do whatever you need to do from that point, or you can enroll and go ahead and get into the FDS Dojo there as well. So last thing I like to say is focus on freedom, not fear, anytime you're in front of an audience. Thank you.